The surface of the sea is completely calm. The waves are slowly moving forward. From above, nothing seems unusual. But around 20 meters beneath that silent water, a machine is moving. One that even the world's most advanced radar, satellites, and maritime patrol aircraft often fail to detect in time. This is not a military submarine, nor is it some secret military technology belonging to a country. This is one of the world's most dangerous smuggling machines, a narco submarine. Inside, there is no comfort, no sunlight, no fresh air, only the smell of diesel, heat, noise, and the fear of death at every moment. Everyone inside knows that if even a small failure occurs, they may never make it back. And yet, people still travel inside them because the cargo they carry can sometimes be worth more than $1 billion. And that is what has driven some of the world's most powerful drug cartels to build a hidden world beneath the sea. But this story does not begin in the sea. Instead, thousands of miles away, deep inside dense rainforests, where, between the trees, along muddy paths, hidden shipyards are waiting. Shipyards that do not appear on any government map. Chapter 2: Hidden Factories. Deep inside the jungle. If you search for a narco submarine at the ports, you will never find anything, because they are not built here. They are born in Colombia, Ecuador, and sometimes in the dense mangrove forests of Brazil, where land and water blend together so completely that even someone looking from above can lose their way. There are no modern shipyards here, no cranes, no large factories, no company signs, only temporary wooden sheds, plastic roofs, and workshops hidden deep inside the jungle. These locations are chosen carefully, places that are not easy to reach. Often, it takes several hours to travel here by boat. Then walk through the dense jungle, and finally, pass through muddy waterways. These difficult routes are also the greatest protection for these secret shipyards. Each part comes by a different route. The most surprising part is, a narco submarine is never brought to one place fully assembled. Every part arrives at a different time, through a different route, and through different people. Sometimes a truck diesel engine, sometimes sheets of fiberglass, sometimes layers of Kevlar, sometimes tanks capable of holding thousands of liters of fuel, and sometimes just screws, bolts, or batteries. No single person knows the whole picture. Every worker does only their own job, so that, even if someone is caught, they cannot reveal the whole truth. Silent engineering. At first glance, these submarines look very simple, but the reality is completely different. They are not an engineering achievement because they look beautiful. They are an engineering achievement because they are built to stay out of sight. And this raises a question. If the cartels have so much money, Why don't they build strong steel submarines? The answer is the most interesting part of this entire story, because sometimes the thing that looks the weakest can turn out to be the most dangerous. Chapter 3: The Engineering of Disappearing. The submarine that does not just travel through the sea, but disappears from sight. If you look at a military submarine, the first thing you notice is its strong steel body, thick metal, a heavy structure, and extremely powerful weapons. But a narco submarine does not rely on any of these things. For it, being powerful is less important than disappearing. The enemy is not the sea, the enemy is radar. The cartels knew that if their vessel was spotted from a distance, the mission could fail before the journey was even over. So, they asked a different question. How do we make the submarine stronger? No, how do we make sure the submarine is never seen? That question became the foundation of their entire engineering. Fiberglass, a silent weapon. Many people think fiberglass is used simply because it is cheap. But the reality is far more interesting. Fiberglass reflects radar waves differently than steel. This does not mean that it completely disappears from radar, but when thousands of square kilometers of ocean are already filled with waves, shadows from clouds, wind, and constant movement of water, even a slightly weaker signal can create a major problem for those searching for it. When a boat does not look like a boat, it is not only about the material. Its shape is carefully designed too. From above, it may not look like an ordinary boat. Most of it stays below the water. Only a small part rises above the surface, sometimes looking like a floating tree trunk, sometimes like drifting debris, and sometimes just an irregular shadow. That is why patrol aircraft can sometimes fly directly over it without realizing that beneath them, a hidden submarine carrying millions of dollars worth of drugs is quietly moving through the sea. The sea's most dangerous enemy, heat. But radar is not the only threat. Today, modern maritime surveillance can also detect heat. Every diesel engine produces heat, and that heat can become a bright signal for infrared sensors watching from above. The solution was surprisingly simple. Hot gases from the engine are released below the surface. The cold seawater quickly cools them down. The result, less heat in the air, and a much weaker signal for sensors watching from above. Every sound is a threat. It is not only heat. Sound is also the enemy. Strong vibrations, an unbalanced propeller, or unusual engine noise can travel long distances through the sea. That is why the engines are installed in ways that reduce vibration as much as possible. The propellers also turn relatively slowly to avoid creating unnecessary noise. In the water, it is not complete silence, but it can be enough to make them much harder to detect. In the open ocean, the price of every kilogram Inside these submarines, every extra kilogram is a decision. More fuel or more drugs? More batteries or more speed? More food or more profit? Everything has to be carefully calculated, because if the weight increases, even by a few hundred kilograms, the submarine's balance, its speed, and its ability to stay underwater can all be affected. But this was only the beginning. The cartels had created a machine that could hide itself in the sea. But one problem still remained. No matter how low it traveled, part of it still remained above the water. And as long as it could be seen, it could also be caught. So, they took another step, a step that would surprise naval forces around the world. They began building submarines that did not simply travel near the surface, but could disappear completely beneath the water. Chapter 4. When the cartels built a real submarine, a machine that could travel silently beneath the sea. Imagine, it is the middle of the night, the sea looks completely calm, and a patrol aircraft keeps circling the same area again and again. The crew is certain that the smuggler's boat must be somewhere nearby, but this time there is nothing on the surface, no shadow, no unusual movement in the waves, no sign of an engine, because what they are searching for is no longer on the sea, it is traveling beneath it. The birth of a new generation as low-profile vessels became easier to detect. The cartels realized that staying close to the surface was no longer enough. If they wanted to survive, they had to learn how to disappear completely. And that was the beginning of a new generation. Fully submersible vessel, or simply FSV. This was not an advanced machine like a military submarine. It had no torpedoes, no sonar, no missiles, and no ability to stay at sea for months. But its purpose was completely different. Just one journey, just one mission, and only one question. Did the cargo reach its destination? How does it go underwater? Here, a question comes up. If it is so heavy, why doesn't it sink? And if it does sink, how does it come back up? The answer is based on a very old but remarkable principle. Ballast tanks. Inside the submarine, special tanks are built. When they are filled with air, the submarine remains relatively light and stays near the surface. But as water enters these tanks, the weight increases and the submarine slowly begins to sink. When it needs to rise again, the water is pushed out and replaced with air. This process allows the submarine to move through different depths beneath the sea. The real battle is for oxygen, but going underwater is easy. Staying alive is much harder. A diesel engine needs oxygen to run, and underwater, there is no fresh oxygen. That is why most narco submarines do not travel underwater for the entire journey. They only dive in areas where the risk of being caught is highest. Some newer models can also run quietly on batteries for several hours. During that time, The engine stays off, and only an electric motor turns the propeller. This reduces speed, but it can greatly increase silence. Breathing becomes a challenge as the submarine stays underwater. The oxygen inside slowly decreases. Carbon dioxide begins to rise. The temperature starts going up. Moisture collects on everything, and the air begins to feel heavy. Some former crew members later described how after several hours, even breathing could become a source of mental stress. One mistake, and everything is over. These submarines are not protected like modern military systems. If a valve stops working, if the ballast tanks do not empty properly, if the electrical system fails, or even a small crack appears in the hull, water can begin rushing inside within minutes. And in the open sea, before help can arrive, everything could be over. Cargo first, people second. The darkest part of these submarines is their priorities. They are not built to keep the crew safe. They are built to make sure the cargo reaches its destination. If the cargo survives, the mission is considered successful, and if the crew does not survive, the cartel often begins working on the next submarine. That way of thinking is what makes these machines so frightening. The silence that moves billions across the world's oceans. There are times when submarines travel, carrying cargo that could generate more profit than the annual budgets of some countries, and that profit is what keeps this entire hidden industry alive. But the sea does not hide every secret forever. Sooner or later, every ghost leaves a trace. And when that happens, one of the world's most complex maritime searches begins. Chapter 5: The Hunter and the Hunted. The world's quietest underwater war. Every time a narco submarine enters the ocean, it is not only the crew that begins a journey. At that very moment, another journey begins too. The journey of the hunted and the hunter. On one side, a hidden submarine carrying drugs worth millions of dollars, and on the other, some of the world's most advanced naval forces with satellites, patrol aircraft, drones, and analysts sitting thousands of miles away, watching for every unusual sign in the ocean. But the ocean is huge. Around 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by ocean. It is so vast that if a submarine's location becomes unknown, even for a few minutes, finding it again can be like searching for a needle in a haystack. And this works in the cartel's favor. They know the ocean is their greatest ally. The first weapon, radar. First, coastal radar systems monitor objects moving across the surface.
Do you see that vessel?
Yes, monitoring it now. Course adjusted.
Cargo ships, fishing boats, and commercial vessels can usually be detected easily, but a narco submarine, only a small part of it may remain above the water. Sometimes, just a small section that can almost disappear among the rough waves. The hunt from the sky. When radar begins to fail, the search moves to the sky. Special maritime patrol aircraft can circle over the ocean for hours and sometimes for an entire day. Beneath them are powerful cameras, high-resolution lenses, infrared sensors, and sometimes advanced systems designed to detect even the smallest changes on the surface of the sea.
Nothing yet, Cap. Roger. Keep looking.
But the pilot is not simply looking for a submarine. They are looking for something unusual, an unnatural pattern in the waves, a thin line moving across the water, or a shadow that should not be there. The real weapon is information, but the interesting part is most narco submarines are not caught at sea. They are often discovered before they even leave, because many successful operations do not begin with radar, but with information. A tip from an informant, phone calls, secret surveillance, financial transactions, or a report of suspicious construction. Deep inside the jungle, sometimes one small piece of information turns into months of surveillance, and then, one day, the Navy simply waits. When the submarine finally enters the sea, they may already know which direction the target is likely to take. Still, not all are caught. Despite all this technology, not every narco submarine is captured. Some complete journeys of thousands of kilometers. Some successfully deliver their cargo, and some disappear forever into the depths of the ocean, sometimes because of an accident, and sometimes by choice, a silent decision. Imagine the crew realizes that the Navy will reach them within a few minutes. What would they do? Surrender? Or hand their most valuable secret over to the sea? Many times, the answer is the second one. They open the valves inside the submarine. Water begins rushing in, and within just a few minutes, a machine worth millions, the drugs inside it, and crucial evidence disappear into the depths of the ocean. Chapter 6. A submarine that was never meant to come back. When the cargo inside was worth more than the machine. Most vehicles in the world, cars, ships, and submarines, are built to be used for years. But the Narco Submarine completely rejects this idea. It is a machine that is sometimes built for only one journey. Every kilogram has a price. This journey is not only about distance, it is also about value. A single package can become several times more valuable by the time it reaches its destination. As the risk increases, its value increases too. That is why every successful journey across the ocean can become a major financial success for the cartels. The return, the most dangerous stage. Most people believe that the real danger comes before the cargo is delivered. But sometimes, the return journey can be even more dangerous, because now the submarine's secret route has already been used. If surveillance agencies manage to understand its movements, they may track it on the way back. And if that happens, it is not only the submarine that is at risk, the entire network could be exposed. In some missions, after unloading the cargo, the crew deliberately sinks the submarine. The valves are opened, or water is allowed to enter the hull. Within just a few minutes, the machine that took months to build disappears into the depths of the ocean. No evidence, no serial number, and often not even a clear clue that could lead investigators to its real builders. What if they are caught? But not every mission succeeds. Sometimes the weather changes. Sometimes the engine fails. And sometimes a patrol aircraft circling above spots nothing more than an unusual wave. The moment the crew realizes that capture is getting closer, they have only seconds to make a decision: fight, escape, or bury everything in the sea. But this is only one part of the story. The real question is, who builds these submarines? Are they professional marine engineers? Do the cartels have their own secret factories and design teams? Or did this knowledge come from somewhere else? Chapter 7. The Engineers of the Jungle. The people who built submarines, hidden from the law. A question, one that may have crossed your mind too. Who actually builds a narco submarine? Can a few smugglers really build a machine capable of traveling hundreds or even thousands of kilometers across the ocean? The answer is not that simple. It is not only the work of criminals. Building a fully submersible vessel is not simply about putting together wood, fiberglass, and an engine. It requires an understanding of water dynamics, balance, weight distribution, engine performance, electrical systems, and the harsh conditions of the sea. This knowledge is not something everyone has. Several investigations have suggested that at different times, cartels have hired people with experience in boat building, mechanical engineering, or marine construction. Some did the work for money, and others became part of the network because of pressure or difficult circumstances. Silent testing. After construction is complete, the submarine is not immediately sent into the open sea. First, it is tested in a nearby river or in calm waters. Is water getting inside? Is the engine overheating? Is the submarine leaning to one side? If the answer is yes, the entire structure may have to be opened up again, because in the open ocean, there is no second chance for a mistake. Then one day, it is time to leave. After months of work, the day finally comes when the submarine begins its first journey towards its real mission. It does not leave from a major port. Instead, it is slowly moved through a quiet river or the winding paths of the mangroves towards the open sea. No ceremony, no flag, no registration number, only silence, and a journey whose ending is either success or disappearing forever. But one question still remains. If these submarines are built with such care, then how are they eventually caught? Does technology really always win, or is human error their greatest weakness? Chapter 8. When one small mistake exposes the entire network.
The Coast Guard is approaching.
The sea never keeps anyone's secrets. It only hides them for a while. Every narco submarine begins its journey believing that no one will see it. But history has shown that billion-dollar operations can come to an end because of one small mistake. Mistake number 1. Humans. Most people believe that narco submarines are caught by radar, satellites, or warships. The reality is much simpler. Many successful operations began with one human mistake. A wrong phone call, a suspicious financial transaction, an informant, or someone who sold information about their own network for more money. Sometimes, the entire operation ends before it even reaches the sea. When silence becomes the enemy, inside the submarine, the sense of time slowly disappears. There is no sunlight, no sky, only the sound of the engine, the hum of the batteries, and the pressure of being trapped inside. After spending days in the same environment, the ability to make decisions can also begin to suffer. Exhaustion, mental pressure, and fear can lead to mistakes that no machine makes, only humans do. Sometimes, the sea wins. Some submarines are never recovered. They disappear forever into the depths of the ocean, taking their secrets with them. And that is why experts believe the number of narco submarines the world has seen may be far smaller than the real number. But one question still remains. If every year several narco submarines are caught, then why don't the cartels stop this business? Why, after every loss, do they build another submarine? Are the profits really that high? Or is this more than just drug trafficking, and instead a dark side of the global economy? Chapter 9. The sea, for thousands of years, has carried the secrets of humanity within it. Sunken cities, lost ships, military submarines, and now narco submarines. But this story was never only about a hidden submarine. It was a story about an idea. Humans invented the submarine to conquer the depths of the sea. Science used it for research. Navies used it for defense. But the same engineering, the same intelligence, and the same creativity were taken by the world of crime and used for a new purpose: to disappear, a silent race. Every new surveillance system creates a new tactic. Every new radar leads to a new design. Every new satellite leads to a new strategy. This is not simply a war between law enforcement and cartels. It is a race between two different minds, one that wants to find, and the other that wants to hide at any cost. But someone always pays the price. The people inside these submarines are often not wealthy. They come from parts of the world where opportunities are few, poverty is high, and danger is part of everyday life. Some risk their entire lives for only a few days of income. If the mission succeeds, they may return alive. If it fails, the sea may become their final resting place. And still, the cycle continues. One submarine is captured, while another is already being built.
The markings here suggest a blockade.
One route is closed, and a new route is found. One shipyard is destroyed, while somewhere else in the jungle, a new workshop quietly begins to operate. That is why this war has still not ended. The biggest question, perhaps the real question, is not where the next narco submarine will be. The real question is, what purpose will humans use their intelligence for? The same engineering that can save lives can also put lives at risk. The same technology that can connect the world can also be used to harm it. The next time you look at the sea, you may see only waves. But beneath those same waves, there may be stories that the world may never fully know. Perhaps at that very moment, somewhere in a remote coastal jungle, another secret submarine is being built. Perhaps a crew is waiting for darkness. Perhaps a patrol aircraft is flying over that same ocean without knowing that just a few meters below, a silent shadow is passing by. The sea has always been silent, but its silence is never empty. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the world is not what we can see, but what we never see at all.